Okay, quick little project today. I found some of these 270 empty casings whilst out walking the dog, and I thought perhaps I'd try and do something with them. So this one I'm going to try and make a whistle out of. So let's give it a go. First job, I've got my soft jaws in the vise. I'm just going to hold it not too tight because these are surprisingly fragile. I've got a little tiny hacksaw, junior hacksaw, with a fine blade in it, although it's not really fine enough. You might be better off doing this with like a Dremel with a cut-off disc or something like that on it, because this, you can see it's sort of jamming up because the teeth are just a little bit too sharp or too coarse. But anyway, it does the job. But I haven't got my Dremel with me, that's at home. I'm doing this little job because I've got a bit of time. I'm waiting for a job to come in. The guy hasn't got here with it yet, and I didn't want to start anything else and then have to put it away when the job arrives. So I thought I'll have a little play. So I've just taken that wedge out, about 1/4 of an inch back from the shoulder. Simple as that. Not quite halfway down, only about, I suppose, just over 1/3 down. I've got this little tiny needle file. I'm just going to clean up around the edges. Don't want any sharp edges. Not only do you not want to catch it on your mouth, but I think it probably affects the tone. I found a load of these under a hide where the hunters sit shooting deer and foxes and whatever else. Basically just like a ladder up a tree with a seat on top of it that they sit in. And I think someone hadn't policed their brass very well, so I found a few of these. So I'm going to make, well, see what I can make. Whistles, key rings, just a couple of little fun projects to fill in. So I'm just taking the sharp edges off, and that's about all we need to do for the time being. Now I'm going to turn up a bit of brass. I haven't got any round brass, unfortunately, so I'm just going to use this bit of hexagon that I've got. I think it's about a 3/8 bit of hexagon. I think I used it to make a Duresta style ice pick. I did a big one and a little one. This was for the little one. So I'm just going to face it off and turn it down. I think it's about 7mm, the internal bore of these .270s, and I want it relatively tight. I don't want it too loose, but then I don't want it too tight. You'll see why a bit later on. So I'm going to try and get this fairly accurate. I'm only making it about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch long. Don't need an awful lot, but I don't want to have too little, so I'm making it a little bit longer than I think I'll need. Give it a check. Still got a bit to come off. Speed that up a bit. Lovely. Perfect. So next job, we've got to put a flat on it. Back to the soft jaws. I'm just using a big old rasp to start with, take the worst off. You can find these cases all over the place online. Your Army and Navy stores, your surplus stores. You can just see there I put that flat on that. I'm just going to tidy it up a bit with a finer file. Yeah, I actually bought some of these from a surplus store before I knew I could find them around the fields. I'm just going to cut that off. That's it. And then what I'm going to do, because my filing isn't all that brilliant, I'm just going to gently hold it in my grips, very gently, and give it a quick blast with the belt sander. Just very gently give it a little rub. Nice, even. There you can see that's better. That's come up much nicer. Do it, just touching it with that. So now the next job is just insert it into the end, and you'll see why I don't want it too loose now, because you want to line it up as well with that slot so that the top of the flat is parallel with the slot. And then you just try. And you keep moving it gently in and out until you either get a whistle or you get your desired pitch. So you just keep playing about, pulling it in, pulling it out. This is to say why you don't want it too loose or too tight. Keep it nice and level. Keep playing about with it. It can take some time, but when you're happy with it, cut the excess off so you know where it's going to go. And I've just put it back in the vise with the slot down. I don't think it really matters, but that's the way I've found it works reasonably well. And then just with your map gas and a bit of solder, it takes seconds this. In fact, I could have used a bit of a bigger bit of solder. Just heat it up. There we go. Just solder that in. It's just so that obviously it's not going to drop out in use, or if you drop it on the floor or whatever. I guess if you made it tight enough, it wouldn't fall out. But then, as I say, it's difficult to get your tuning right if it's too tight. So just cooled that out. And there you go. So what I'm going to do, go and clean it up, get these excess bits of solder off. So I've got on there a fibre disc. They're about an inch thick, and they're a bit like a Scotch-Brite, about 180 grit, nice and soft and flexible, and they take the muck off really nicely. And get rid of that. Onto the polisher. Take out the scratch marks from the 180 grit. Polish it back to shiny things. Try and take any rough edges off. The groove at the end lends itself to wrapping some sort of a cord round, so you could make it on a lanyard or something. There you go. Or you could just knock the primer out and solder in a ring. There we go. Take off the excess polish. All you really got to do then is give it a go. Now that makes quite a low noise. I did actually make another one out of 308. That's this one, which sounds slightly higher. So I'm guessing the shorter casings make a higher pitch. So there you go. Little fun project for half an hour. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.